Hello again. This is Stephen Shade here with How to Start Your Own Drafting Business Facebook group. What we're going to be going over today is the details that are required for our garage that we've been working on. So here is the garage, and I've got some of the labels active right now, and I have the exterior walls active. So it looks kind of funny because it's kind of in between. I got some roof notes in here, some concrete notes, different things like that. But what we want to focus on, I'm going to come over here to the sheets that I've created. First here is the floor plan. This is the cover sheet of the set of plans. It's going to have the customer name, his address, and then down here on the right hand side it's going to have the list of sheets just as kind of a table of contents, and it's also going to have so here's the list of sheets, and then I put this language in here just to, I don't know, just to encourage people not to steal my stuff. And this here is the list of the details and what page to find them on. So if they ever need to know, oh, here's the turn down footing, it's on this sheet. Oh, I need to know the wall cross-section detail, it's on this sheet. Okay, so there's all those. Then I finish off my plans with a generic label down here in the bottom left, bottom right I mean. I'm going to have the address, parcel number, client name, the plan number, and I have the label here, and then up above it's just a floor plan with the room labels and an estimated square footage of each room. I should probably put a label out here for the patio. So let's do that while we're thinking about it. So I'm going to go to my room titles or room labels depending on how my layers are set up. Use the copy tool to copy this one over. There we go. And this is the patio, and it is 18 across by 6. Let's see, did I have spaces? Yeah, I did. There we go. And that should show up back on the paper. All right, great. So the next thing here is actually the site plan. However, I need to get with the client still and get more information about the site before I can do that. So we're going to skip on to the foundation. And this is what it looks like so far. I'm actually going to make this viewport a little smaller so that we don't get so much extra stuff that we don't want. There we go. And then I wanted to go over the details that go with this one with you, so you can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at. Alright, so as I was saying, in a previous video I talked about how I was going to redesign the garage a little bit to have a little bit different concrete or foundation layout. Because originally I had all of this to be a quote garage type of concrete, and then I got to thinking about how there'd be a stem wall all the way around, and you'd have to step over the patio to get into the over the stem wall to get into the garage right here through the store. So I thought that would be kind of awkward. Plus, if you have boxes or something on the floor, you don't want water to push up onto those boxes in the storage area. So I put a 2-inch step down right here into the garage and a 2-inch step down in here. So this is kind of a raised platform, and it's flat. Now the slope of the garage goes that way, and then these labels here indicate that there's a slope on the porch as well, just to kind of off this way to get the water off the porch. All right, So because of that, there's a lot more details to do. So let's just start over here. This is the column detail, and I looked up the part number off of Home Depot so that I can know which part they're going to be using here to tie in. And then I looked up the codes here. This is kind of a typical one. You can Google these also, and you'll see them in Google Pictures. But the trouble with that is you don't always know what version of the code they're using. So it'll give you a good idea, but if you don't know the code, you're going to be struggling there. And there's courses you can take, and there's binders you can buy to get all those codes. So then I used a 5/8 inch anchor bolt, 12 inches long, to tie down this. And the plans inspector is going to be looking at these to make sure they're all correct. Okay. So, worst case scenario, I've actually made my best guess, and had the plans examiner review it. Now, I don't necessarily advise that from a liability standpoint. Now, this is the turn down footing. It's that, like I said, that raised storage area and then down into the garage, a little 2-inch step right there. And then these are the details for the wall side of the storage area and the stem wall portion of the garage area. Now you'll notice that some of these things, like right here, this is a consistent thing throughout the plan. So if I got to make sure that these bolt sizes are the same and these differences are the same, because you'll see them there, you'll see them here, okay, and then you'll also see them on the framing plan on the wall section detail. Let's see, where's the wall section detail? Right here. So there's the bolt again, and it's right in here, the description of that bolt. So you got to make sure that you're consistent. If you change it on one of these details, you got to go through each one of the details and make sure you got it the same. That's an easy place to have inconsistencies and make mistakes. Now notice here, when I did the elevations, I had this 2x12 rafter sitting on the wall a little bit differently. I had it up here, sitting up here, and I've decided to notch it out and lay it on here just like this. So then I actually went through and redid the elevations too to match this new layout of the 2x12s. I also went to my lumber chart and looked up based off the live load and all that, so I'm pretty sure this 2x12 will work. Let's take a look at the elevations. In my previous videos you can see they were pretty rough, but now I got the siding on there. I got these, I drew in these light fixtures. Now to draw on these light fixtures, I just used my drawing tools here. This is a polygon I used for the background, and I used it down here, and I used a square right there and a triangle right there. And I used my modify cut tool to cut little areas out. So this is the west side here. This is the storage area. This is trim boards that you put around the siding. These are the posts. And then again, here's the opposite, the east side. Trim boards on the sides. The top trim board's hidden underneath the eave, if you need one. Not everybody puts one on there. This is the south side. Now notice I didn't put the lights on here. I probably should have or could have. It's not always necessary, but it can get confusing if you see a light sticking out. So I don't know, I guess it's a matter of opinion. Now on this side too, I put in the 4x8 beam right here, and I notched out the 2x12 rafter. So this is what this is right here, the 2x12 rafter. So it sits on the roof different on both sides. See? Okay, so I wanted to show you those things, and then those details, and that note about some of the things that are consistent. Let's go to the roof plan real quick just to get a look at that. The roof plan doesn't have as many details. It only has 2. I could make these a little bit bigger, but I don't think it's necessary either. This is how we do the overhangs for the eaves on the front and the back of the building. Basically, you notch out your 2x12 on the end, and you put these 2x6s down inside there, and then you nail through the top of your 2x12 into your 2x6 on these sides right here. So it kind of, this works as kind of a pivot point, and then this is the leverage to lock it down, and then this is your fascia board right here. And then here's another picture of that eave cross section. Now it looks a lot like, let's see, I need to, this word's getting chopped off, so I'm going to make that a little bigger. Oh no. Okay, notice how it all moved. It's because I didn't lock in the scale, so it's going to try to adjust it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the viewport and lock down the scale, and then I'll move this out as soon as the autosave is finished. Here we go. Alright, viewport, fixed scale. Say OK. Then we can move this out and it won't move, because it tries to keep the image relative to the size of your viewport unless you lock in the scale, and then it won't shrink it or make it bigger. No, so go back to what I was saying. The wall cross section, this is almost exactly the same as the wall cross section. So in the past, I've kind of tried to take a viewport of just the wall cross section and just a piece of it, but that doesn't work. I've actually had the plans examiners complain, which I thought was kind of funny because they are exactly the same. The only thing different is I added this, it's going to be asphalt shingle on the roof. That's the only thing I added. But what I did then is I just made a copy of it. I just highlighted the wall cross-section detail on the model space, and I copied it over and started this one. But yeah, I had to draw 2 different drawings. That's what the plans examiners want. Okay, so this is the roof plan. Let's go back to mechanical real quick. So with the mechanical, I did add the electrical panel here. Now normally I ask the client where he wants it, so we might need to move that, but for now I think that's an okay place out of the way. And then I went through each of these things here, and I noticed they have an amount needed. So this is a quick reference for the contractor, so you can do a quick bid to figure out how much it's going to cost to do it, and also for the builder so he can buy the supplies. So go through and count how many of every little item you have and add it up here. And then here's the labels that go with the number 5, the number 2, and number 8. These are little notes. Basically, we need to make sure that each of the circuits is on arc fault default, arc fault interrupt. There's no air conditioner, so I didn't have to do any of that. Pretty straightforward for the garage. And then here's the shear plan. Shear plan just has the 2 details, the same 2, the one's on the concrete plan, one's on the framing plan. And the only thing we added here was this note for these STHD 14s up front that help stabilize the front of the building. Another small note is I put a texture on this 12-foot wall so that we would know that it's a 12-foot wall. Go to the framing detail here, I'll show you that. Okay, so down here in the framing plan, we got this, come on, work with me, computer. Alright, so we got these schedules, so I had to go through and make sure to label door 1 and door 2. This is the garage door, this is the entry door into the storage area. And then there's windows here, there's 2 4x4 windows. Okay, then we go down, here are the beams. It's the beam schedule. There's one over the garage, and then these are the ones on the porch and the patio. Then we got the wall schedule. This is the 12-foot wall, 2x4 studs. just to show. And this little hashtags there, so we can know. That way, when the builder's looking at it, he can get a quick reference that something's weird about this wall, and be like, oh, that's the 12-foot wall. We got to make sure we do that. Okay, so this one here, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to print each of these sheets, and I'm going to actually deliver it to the client, and I'm going to ask him to look it over to see if there's any changes he wants to make. And then I'm also going to ask him some more questions about the site plan so that I can get that drawn up for him. Sometimes the clients don't even need it, to be honest, so he might already have it drawn up. As part of the permit process, you got to do that, so he might have done that himself. But the plot plan or the site plan, sorry about the resolution here, but these are parcel information, so I'm not going to zoom in because that's kind of personal. But this one here has a house, and I put this is the proposed house, and then these are the current existing buildings, the existing driveway, and this is somebody else's. This is not this client. This is an old client's thing. So it is going to have the lot dimensions and some of the details about the lot, the parcel numbers of the neighbors, stuff like that. And then any existing buildings, any septic tanks, electrical point of service, gas point of service, any of those things. And then it's going to have the proposed project and where it is and relative to everything else. Okay, so that's the site plan, and I'll be doing that later after I get some more details from the client. I do know that he's going to have a garage in the backyard and a home in the front, and there's he mentioned a shed over here, so I'm going to have to basically scratch this one. I don't think I can use any of this, so I'm going to have to redo all of it. But that gives you an idea. All right, well, thanks for watching again, and I will see you in the next video. If you would like more information, please join my Facebook group called Starting a Drafting Business. Inside that group, I share tips and tricks on how to get your own drafting business started. I also have some tutorials like this one about how to use TurboCAD. So I look forward to seeing you in the group, and I'll catch you next time.